Hello, everyone. My name is Sandhya Avasthi. I'm Assistant Professor in ABES Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Today, I'm going to discuss a topic software testing from subject software engineering. So the topic to be covered today is what is software testing, terminology, test cases, test template, and positive test cases. What is software testing? So software testing is considered as a process of verifying and validating. So verifying is a static step where whatever is done, what document that a software development team prepared, that is verified statically using different methods, static method. Validation is that phase where dynamically that is done, like by executing the code, etc. So idea is the process, both the process are completed and to check that software and application is bug-free, meets a technical requirement as guided by its design and development. This is also known as a process to check that software meets user requirement effectively and efficiently. So sometimes what happens, our feature is good, producing right result, but it is taking too much time. So in terms of performance, that is considered a poor performance. So the software should produce correct result, and that is also in a specific amount of time. Then only you consider that software is performing good. The aim of software testing is to help realize, identify all kind of problems, also known as defects in the program. So it is considered that even after satisfactory completion of testing phase, it is not possible to guarantee that a program is error-free. So you take so many test cases, the team is working hard, checking each and everything, every features with so many test cases. Even after doing that, the team cannot be 100% sure that they have removed all problems, all errors from the code, right? So it is possible that in future, some other kind of problems will appear, right? So input data domain of most program is considered to be very large. Say there is a system or a software and it has many features, right? So more than 100 features. So of course, there may be thousands or more test cases. So checking each and every features with more than 1,000 test cases is really impractical, not practical at all. That is going to take a lot of time. So, which is not practical. So how do we test a program? How the software testing team decides that this is the right number of test cases that can be taken to check a particular system? So this is a typical simplified view of testing, where this is the system under test. We call it SUT, system under test, and the user, mainly the testing person, provides the input that has been decided for testing point of view and observes the output. So if the program fails to behave as expected, then the input data and condition under which it fails are noted down, documented in a test script, in a test document, and that is further sent to the team for modification, development team for the modification. Some of the popular testing terminologies are mistake. What is a mistake? So it is a programmer action due to some ignorance or some general human error can be there. So that converts to a incorrect result during program execution. So say not initializing a certain variable or ignoring the division by zero problem. So error is, it is the result of mistake committed by developer in any of the development activity. For example, a call made to the wrong function, the function name has been correctly used or some spelling error is there. Some other terminologies, fault. What is a fault? A programmer makes an error which results in a fault, and that fault can be a defect or a bug in the software source code. If that fault is executed, system will produce wrong result, and that will convert to a failure. Failure is considered to be a point where the system is not performing as per the expectation. Say a particular feature is there, say there is a login application and you provide correct input, user ID, password, so it should give you access to the account, but it is not giving you account. So might be some problem due to which this feature is not producing right result. So that could be due to any defect, bug that still exists in there, and software testing team has not identified that. Failure. So it is the incorrect behavior exhibited by the program during its execution. Incorrect behavior is observed either as an incorrect result or any inappropriate activity carried out by the program. So every failure is caused by some bugs present in the program. Another testing terminology is, which is quite known, and that is known as soft test case. So test case is nothing but a input value. So for any system or a software, if you want to test it, there might be n number of input test cases, right? So or more. This number can be very large. That depends totally on the size of the software developed, right? So it is generally represented, defined using triplet value I, S, and R. So I is the data input to the program under test. S is the state of the program at which data is to be input. R is the result expected to be produced by the program. So state is, in general, in how many execution mode you are checking different values. So that is known as generally the state of a program. For example, there might be different execution mode of a certain text editing software, right? So text editing software like Word. So there might be different execution mode for that. This is, in this slide, a typical test case template is shown. So that is divided into 3 segments. This part denotes the scenario IDs, the description of the test case or prerequisite. This represents the test ID, the priority, and post requisite. If there is no post requisite, you just write down or just leave it blank. Prerequisite is anything. If you want to test a particular module, so what is needed that should be there before testing it, right? So for example, you are checking an application and you are checking the login feature. So to check the login feature, the user need to have an account, right? So if there is a registered user, then only he can log in. Else, this login will not be there. So the prerequisite for a login test case is having a registered a particular account. This part basically describe different test cases. So this is generally a very huge table. So if there are, say, n number of test cases, so that represents one record, one row in this table. So this is a typical test case example to test a login page. So there are different applications. Any application that we use these days, they all have a login feature, right? So you first need to have a registered there, and first then you create your account is created, then only you can log in there, right? So here we are considering only positive test cases. So positive test cases is generally a term that represents the correct and valid values. So here all the input values that we take are valid input and correct input. That means if we provide user input, so that is a correct input. We provide a password, which is a correct password. We don't try to check the random values, incorrect values. So positive test cases. So here 2 test cases are given. The first test case where we are providing correct URL of the application, and the expected output is you must go to Facebook home page when you provide this URL www.facebook.com, and actual output you are getting is Facebook homepage. This is tested through a test browser, and what you get is a pass because both the values are matching. That means expected output is equal to actual output. So that test result is considered a pass. Another test case is you want to log in, so you will check whether it is giving access to the account if you provide a username and a password. So here correct email ID test@xyz.com is entered and a correct password is entered. What you expect is a successful login, and you are getting a successful login. That means this test case is a pass. This was done by Priya on this date, on this time, and this is a successful login. So this test case real life example that you see is a very good example of positive test cases, where we are using all the correct values and checking if the actual output is matching with the expected output or not. So that will be all for today's session. All the concept and terminologies were taken from the book Software Engineering Concept by K.K. Agarwal and the Software Engineering Concept by R.S. Pressman. If you like the video, press like button. Thank you, everyone.